And listen, I'm fairly conservative when it comes to both of the buckets of investing as well as speculation, right? So talking to one of our students this week, I was telling him, I said, listen, I haven't made an options trade at this point in 2 weeks. And the reason I do that from time to time, I'll step off for a whole month, sometimes even 2 months. And the reason I'll do that is because when I feel myself making moves just to say I have some action out there, that's no good, because I want to make sure I'm always sticking to the fundamentals, always doing my due diligence and doing my research. But it's so addictive, specifically when you're in a market like this that's very volatile and people are making money. So I have to maintain my approach. Okay, I won't trade anything. I'll just do cover calls, right? Or I'll sell puts. And the reason I do that is because I don't want to ever feel like I'm gambling. Because when you start to feel like you're gambling and you're doing things for the rush, you're not making sound decisions. So I'll just step away for a couple of weeks. But the one thing I'll never step away from is that bucket of investing, buying long-term, amazing companies and just sitting on them. But that's the kind of conversation that a lot of people don't want to have, because they're looking for that lottery ticket and that rush. And that's why the mental part of this entire game, is the toughest thing. And again, this isn't investment advice. We're just giving our perspective from our experience and for educational and entertainment purposes. But it just understand that it's not about the rush. This isn't gambling. Like if that's what you want to do, just go to the casino or download like DraftKings or something. Make sure you download DraftKings because I own the stock. But
so do I. So go ahead.
Let's see. Christine J says, what about trading stocks? So people out there are day traders as well. So as a trader, that's a little different than investing in stocks. If you're a swing trader or a day trader or whatever, you're jumping in and out of positions. That's more speculative than buying something and sitting on it for a long period of time. That goes back to that time horizon. When you say trading stocks, the word trading makes me think that it's a short-term thing. Because again, trading and investing, just like trading and speculation, are two different things. When you're trading something, you're buying and selling right away. When you buy a stock and you just sit on it as a buy and hold investor, that's buying a company, and you're going to go, you're an owner in the company. You're going through the ups and downs of said company, collecting dividends or reinvesting dividends, whatever it is you're doing. You know what I mean? So just understand that trading and investing is different, just like speculation and investing. But I like to talk about the different asset classes, Core, because, we talk a lot about the stock market, but real estate. Within the real estate game, you can speculate as well, which to me has always been problematic. As someone who has made a living off real estate their entire life, I've seen people come and go that are speculators. I believe in buying. If I'm not buying for cash flow, I'm not buying, right? So some people buy, land or buildings in a specific area because they say, okay, in a certain amount of time, this area is going to be this. I don't do that. I got to be able to buy it, rent it out, and make cash every month, because to me, cash is king. I want cash. I don't care about, you can have all your credit all you want to. Give me cold, hard cash.
It's not cash that's king. Cash is not king. Cash flow is king.
Cash flow is king, right? I mean, but the old adage is cash is king, but it's cash flow is king. If you want to, play semantics, say it's cash flow, but cash is king. If I have a choice between cash and credit, give me cash.
All
credit
day.
Can be pulled
Every
from you
single
anytime.
day.
Credit can be pulled from you at any time. Shout out to all the people out there doing credit repair work that want to like sell y'all on the whole idea that credit is king.
Nothing wrong with good credit, though. Nothing wrong with good credit. That means you can pay your bills and you're a responsible human being. But it doesn't mean what happens with credit is people don't use it for what it's supposed to be for, which is the leverage. And so people, be double and triple dipping. They'll buy something. They'll buy a depreciating asset with credit, which is nuts. I lose my mind when people do that, because
and that's the argument. That's the argument people make. They'll try to give you the math. Well, if I borrow this, but the fact of the matter is, let's look at data. Data shows that most people that borrow are using consumer credit, and they're spending money on depreciating assets. Most people who run up a tab aren't running up a tab to buy investments, right? We could do the math all day long. And that's another thing about finance. We get into this conversation about what's possible and what the average person does. So mathematically, it's possible to borrow and make more money. But what the data shows us, most people don't do that. It's like we're like $14 trillion in consumer debt. That's not mortgages or buying real estate. It's people buying going out buying shopping, buying clothes.
Yeah, that's your Macy's card and your Kohl's card and your cards that your everyday consumer cards. Most people don't buy from Macy's and then flip it on eBay. Most people buy from Macy's and then end up with a tab and end up wearing the depreciated asset on their body. And so, you know, that's a you know, or they swipe their credit card to buy a cheesesteak and some pretzels in Philly. You know what I mean? Like, you gonna eat that. So now you paying interest for a cheesesteak. It costs you $5 on your card, but if you don't pay it, it'll end up costing you $15 for that $5. So
Man, some people are paying on meals they had a year ago, and they still paying on that meal. You know what I'm saying?
man.